What's going on, everybody? I'm getting started back on the F-150. I'm getting ready to finish up the fuel lines. Making the fuel line kit and everything, I got to put new aftermarket fuel rails. The unfortunate thing is they don't make any parts for the truck style intake on these two valves. So I bought the Mustang fuel rails. They look like they're going to mount up pretty good. Mount up to the injectors pretty good, obviously, because it's the same design, but I have to make top brackets that hold the rails down. So haven't really figured out how I'm gonna do that yet. I got to get rid of all the old fuel injector the fuel injectors, the rails, the old pressure regulator, get rid of all that stuff, and then run the new pressure regulator, which I've already done. I've already put that on there. I've got the tank down right now so I can run the new fuel lines. And yeah, might as well stop talking about it. Let's get to it. So I got the fuel lines coming out. Got the fuel filter right there. Got that mounted down so it's nice and solid, it ain't going nowhere. And then I just got to finish up making this, the full fuel feed goes from here to the rail, but I don't really know how long I need to make it because I don't really have them in here. So I've got to get all this old stuff out, the fuel rails out real quick, and then that's where I have the fuel pressure regulator. I've already got the return line made, so I may move that over just a little bit. Depending on how straight the AN fitting makes that. If it makes it curved and look wonky, I may move the fuel pressure regulator over a little bit, but just to kind of straighten it up, make it look a little bit more uniform. But other than that, I mean, really, let's just start pulling it out and see what it looks like. So I got all the fittings and stuff installed. This is pretty much how I'm gonna run it. I'm gonna have the feed come through the front, and then the loop go through the back, just kind of like it is stock. Because if I try to do it up front, there's an alternator, there's a bracket for the power steering reservoir, there's a bunch of things up front that I don't really want to have to try to interfere or go over. So I'm just gonna do it like this. It's gonna go straight from the regulator to here, or it's gonna flow in through here, go to all the injectors, and then come up through here, go to the fuel pressure regulator, and then back to the tank. So pretty straightforward. The only thing that's going to be weird is these brackets, because the ones that they sent me with are these things. So I might be able to make these, retrofit them to make them work. Make like an L bracket underneath and have this to where it threads down. This will obviously be lower than, or the bracket is obviously going to be lower than here, so this can pull it down. It's kind of how I'm looking. So basically make an L bracket there. Oh, wait a minute. Oh yeah, I got this thing too far back. Okay, so yep, right under there. Okay, so yep, it should fit. Go straight over, have a little bolt, threaded bolt or threaded nut, and then bolt that down. So that's how I'm thinking about doing it, but when I get it on the truck, it may look ugly, so I don't know. We'll play it by ear, but for right now I gotta make that crossover line real quick, and then we can throw these things on. So I got it, the crossover tube made. I put this fuel rail on the inside and then this fuel rail on the outside, so to try to make it as even as possible, as close to stock as possible, because these fuel injectors line up perfect, so these ones should, with the distance. And of course it's an AN line, so we have a little bit of wiggle room, but the closer to stock, the closer closer to the stock mounting points, the better. So I don't really have to do too much, but yeah, I think whenever I make that L bracket to come over and just flip this thing around to the side, I think that'll mount it down perfect. So, and it'll make it to where it pulls it snug, pulls it tight. And this one will just be a normal mounting bracket. So let's go ahead and get this thing slapped on real quick. So the crossover tube that I made, this hose wasn't lined up. I didn't have the injectors lined up, so I kind of didn't really go based off that. So with this fitting, it kind of goes right into the intake. Obviously, that's the reason why this comes out. So I'm gonna have to get a straight fitting here, and then I'm gonna put a 90 degree on this. So it'll be like, and it'll come out there like stock, and then everything will fit normal, fit perfect. But right now, with this 90 degree on here, like I said, it was going straight into the intake. So it's kind of giving me a problem. But yeah, I just have to get this fitting swapped over to a 90, this fitting swapped over to a straight, and then we'll be Gucci. But unfortunately, I don't have a straight right now, a straight 90 to 3/8 pipe thread. So I got to go grab that tomorrow, because it is already too late. They close in 30 minutes, and I'm an hour away, so definitely not making it there. Alrighty, so after I switched that fitting over from a straight and to that fitting over to a 90, fits pretty damn good now. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw the injectors in, throw it on the car. It's pretty cold out there, so I might not get any footage of it again. Yeah, let's go ahead and test fit this bitch real quick. So with the heater hose on there, there was no way to get both rails on there at the same time, so I have to put this one on here and fish that one. You can kind of see where it's, so that should be perfect. And yeah, now I'm just gonna try to tighten this one real quick, figure out a way to tighten this side. I may have to pull it up and over just to get a little bit of access to it, but yeah, it's kind of tight in this motherfucker. That's the reason why everyone uses the Mustang intake, because this big girthy motherfucker, hard to get anything around. But we can make it work. So I got one side in, fuel rail's looking pretty good. I think I got enough space for my 180 underneath the power steering reservoir bracket. And then I don't think I'm gonna have enough space to put an L bracket behind this, so I'm gonna have to figure out a way to make a bracket that goes around it and hooks to the top, because it's sitting flush against it. So might be able to pull it forward a little bit. I don't know. I'll just have to see once I get a little bit of daylight and some heat, because I'm cold as a motherfucker. It's all rainy out here. Hell yeah. So everything's fitting right. I don't really have any room between the intake manifold, so I may have to scratch the mount that I was gonna make, but I'm not sure. But the crossover tube's connected, everything's tight, other than the fuel rail mounted down. But the fitting has enough room. There's plenty of room. So I gotta make that last return line right there. Goes from the rail to the fuel pressure regulator, and then make my mounting brackets, and then the fuel feed. And once I make all that, then the fuel system's done, and I just gotta check it for leaks. But I'm not gonna do it tonight because it is starting to rain, and I don't want to be down here in the water. So, but not too much more left. But I think it's a good spot to end this video on, and then the next video I should be able to have all of the fuel system and everything tidied up, the truck running, a lot of this wiring and stuff tidied up. I'll have the catch can put in, and she'll be ready to be dropped off to the tuner. So stay tuned. If you guys don't mind, go ahead and hit the like and subscribe, and share if you don't mind. See ya.